The amazing Spider-Man 2 releases this weekend. So let's take a look at the 25 greatest superhero movies of all time. Thor is a 2011 American superhero film based on the Marvel Comics character of the same name. The film was directed by Kenneth Branagh and stars Chris Hemsworth, Natalie Portman, Tom Hiddleston and many more. As a Shakespearean actor himself, Branagh concerns himself more with performance and character than most comic movie directors. The conflicted fraternal relationship between Thor and Loki is compelling and the stars are tremendous.
I cast you out!
Blade 2 is a 2002 American vampire superhero action film based on the fictional Marvel Comics character Blade. It is the sequel of the first film and the second part of the Blade film series, followed by Blade Trinity. It was written by David S. Goyer. Blade 2 is most interesting because of all the ways Del Toro takes Stephen Norrington's original formula and makes it weirder, grosser and more Del Toro-y, while also keeping the butt-kicking set pieces and sleek visual style.
Wesley Snipes.
No.
The Crow is a 1994 American supernatural action-based film directed by Alex Proyas. Based on James O'Barr's 1989 comic book of the same name, it tells the story of Lee, a rock musician who is revived from the dead to avenge his murder and that of his fiancée. Lee's jilting yet flawless and emotional execution was stopped for Heath Ledger's Joker to come. Kick-Ass is a 2010 British-American superhero action comedy film based on the comic book of the same name by Mark Millar and John Romita Jr. The film was directed by Matthew Vaughn. It tells the story of an ordinary teenager who sets out to become a real-life superhero, calling himself Kick-Ass. Set aside the sharp, funny writing, the concept of a teenage kid taking on crime is the ultimate underdog story.
Who are you? I'm Kick-Ass.
X-Men is a 2000 American superhero film based on the Marvel Comics superhero team of the same name. The film was directed by Bryan Singer and stars Halle Berry, Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart. The film was directed by Bryan Singer and stars Patrick Stewart, Hugh Jackman, Halle Berry and many more. The problem with X-Men is that there were just too many of them. Singer managed to crack the code on how to do an ensemble movie where every character is a main character. Darkman is a 1990 American superhero action film directed and co-written by Sam Raimi. It is based on a short story Raimi wrote that paid homage to Universal's horror films of the 1930s. The film stars Liam Neeson, a scientist who is attacked and left for dead by a ruthless mobster. Raimi not only laid out the template for how he would eventually make Spider-Man, but also laid out a template that many other superhero filmmakers have ended up emulating. And he did it with an original character that gave Liam Neeson a chance to play completely bananas. The film had a really weird streak, but that's exactly what made Raimi such a fun choice for a big superhero movie after this.
He has the power to look like any man.
Hellboy is a 2004 American supernatural superhero film starring Ron Perlman and directed by Del Toro. The film is based on the novel Hellboy: Seed of Destruction. The film is about a demonic beast known as Hellboy who secretly works to keep the world safe from paranormal threats. Del Toro's insistence on being able to shoot most of the film practical means we get a greater sense of these characters being tangible, and he obviously adores this world and these people. Unbreakable is a 2000 American superhero thriller film written, produced and directed by M. Night Shyamalan. The film stars Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson. Unbreakable tells the story of Philadelphia security guard David Dunn, who slowly discovers that he is a superhero. The film explores analogies between the real world and the mythology of superheroes. Effectively a superhero movie for people who think they don't like superhero movies. Knight's original postmodern creation brings a fresh, real-world context to the structural conventions of comic book storytelling.
Know one thing. 31 people died so you could finally understand the destiny.
Watchmen is a 2009 American vigilante superhero film directed by Zack Snyder. It stars Patrick Wilson, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, and many more. It is an adaptation of the comic book of the same name by Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons. The film is set in an alternate history in 1985 at the height of the Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union, as a group of mostly retired vigilantes investigates an apparent conspiracy against them and uncovers something even more grandiose and sinister. Snyder's film may not work exactly the same way as the groundbreaking book of Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons did, but it still leaps and bounds beyond what anyone else is trying to do with the same genre. Spider-Man is a 2002 American superhero film directed by Sam Raimi, based on the Marvel Comics character of the same name. The film stars Tobey Maguire as Peter Parker, a high school student who turns to crime fighting after developing spider-like powers. Aided by Maguire's wide-eyed, gee-whiz performance, Raimi and his writers crafted the perfect tonal balance for the saga, which really took off in the 2004 sequel and collapsed under its own weight and fatigue by the third film. Hulk is a 2003 American superhero film based on the fictional Marvel Comics character of the same name. Andy directed the film, which stars Eric Bana as Dr. Bruce Banner, as well as Jennifer Connelly, Sam Elliott, and many more. The film explores the origins of the Hulk, which is partially attributed to Banner's father's experiments on himself and on his son. Yes, there are parts of this film where it totally hops the rails, but there are also moments that it gets so right it's breathtaking.
From director Ang Lee.
Captain America: The First Avenger is a 2011 American superhero film based on the Marvel Comics character Captain America. This film stars Chris Evans, Tommy Joe, Sebastian Stan, and many more. Set predominantly during World War II, the film tells the story of Steve Rogers, a sickly man from Brooklyn who is transformed into super soldier Captain America to aid in the war effort. Johnston was the perfect fit for the aesthetic of something like this, given his work on films like The Rocketeer. That throwback feel is unique in the genre of superhero films and gives this one a special place. The Rocketeer is a 1991 American period superhero film directed by Johnston. The film stars Billy Campbell, Jennifer Connelly, Alan Arkin, and many more. The Rocketeer tells the story of stunt pilot Cliff Seckert, who discovers a jetpack that enables him to fly. It may be based on a comic book, but the cinema is the medium to which this swarmy retro adventure is most devoted. Locating the action in Golden Age Hollywood with Sumter's Art Deco design to match gives the film a romanticism rare for the genre. Batman Begins is a 2005 British-American superhero film based on the fictional DC Comics character Batman, co-written and directed by Kristen Nolan. It stars Christian Bale as Batman along with Liam Neeson, Katie Holmes, and many more. The film reboots the Batman film series, telling the original story of the character from Bruce Wayne's initial fear of bats, the death of his parents, his journey to become Batman, and his fight against saving the Gotham City. It came at a moment when the genre was already starting to tip towards the silly, and it set in an interesting challenge for other filmmakers looking to work in this admittedly populist form but who want to treat things seriously. Superman 2 is a 1980 superhero film directed by Richard Lester. It is a sequel to the 1978 film Superman and stars Gene Hackman, Christopher Reeve, Terrence Stamp, and many more. The superhero gives up powers, tries to live as a normal person, realizes that the world needs him. Plotline has been done many times on the big and small screen, but this is probably the best treatment of that narrative.
Superman!
General, would you care to step outside?
Captain America: The Winter Soldier is a 2014 American superhero film featuring the Marvel Comics character Captain America. It is the sequel to 2011's Captain America, the first Avenger and the 9th installment in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This film is directed by Anthony and Joe Russo. It stars Chris Evans, Scarlett Johansson, Sebastian Stan and many more. In the film Captain America, the Black Widow and Sam Wilson join forces to uncover a conspiracy within S.H.I.E.L.D. while facing a mysterious assassin known as the Winter Soldier. It mashes up the best elements of the paranoid political thrillers of the 70s and modern-day superhero epics, two genres that shouldn't go together nearly as well as they do here, with the sincere and decent 40s relic Cap serving as a great contrast to all the morally ambiguous characters around him. Iron Man is a 2008 American superhero film based on the Marvel Comics character of the same name. It stars Robert Downey Jr., Terrence Howard, Gwyneth Paltrow and many more. The film sees Tony Stark, an industrialist and master engineer, build a powered exoskeleton and becomes the technologically advanced superhero Iron Man. The movie that started a billion-dollar franchisee, Iron Man, proved that audience will flock to a superhero story even if the character isn't a household name, as long as it's sharp and entertaining. X2 is a 2003 American superhero film based on the X-Men superhero team appearing in Marvel Comics. It is the second installment in the X-Men film series. The film was directed by Bryan Singer and starred Patrick Stewart, Hugh Jackman, Halle Berry, Aaron Stanford and many more. Marvel may be making waves with superhero team-ups as of late, but X2 was the first movie that really made that work on a large scale, folding in tons of recognizable heroes and villains for a comic book extravaganza on the big screen. X-Men First Class is a 2011 superhero film based on the X-Men characters appearing in Marvel Comics. The film was directed by Matthew Vaughn and produced by Bryan Singer, and it acts as a prequel to the X-Men film series. This film stars James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender in the lead. Matthew Vaughn had absolutely impeccable timing when he cast Michael Fassbender and Jennifer Lawrence as the young versions of Magneto and Mystique, and the decision to take the characters back to the swinging 60s gave Vaughn permission to have huge fun with rebooting the series. Spider-Man 2 is a 2004 American superhero film directed by Sam Raimi. It stars Tobey Maguire, Kristen Dunst and James Franco. The sequel to the 2002 film Spider-Man, it is the second film in Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy based on the fictional Marvel Comics character of the same name. Raimi has several warm-ups, but he pulled it all together with this one.
Let's see who's behind the mask.
Superman is a 1978 superhero film directed by Richard Donner. It is based on the DC Comics character of the same name and stars Marlon Brando, Gene Hackman, Christopher Reeve and many more. Christopher Reeve's performance remains the gold standard for all superhero movie leads, able to find what's compelling about the corny do-gooder from Krypton and making you believe no one would look at Clark Kent and recognize his other identity. Batman is a 1989 American superhero film directed by Tim Burton, based on the DC Comics character of the same name. It is the first installment of Warner Brothers' initial Batman film series. The film stars Jack Nicholson and Michael Keaton in the title role. In the film, Batman deals with the rise of a costumed criminal known as the Joker. Batman rubbed many fans wrong at the time for liberties taken with the mythos, but it stands as a sort of Elseworlds tale full of panache, the movie that finally brought the Batman of film and TV to a darker side.
Complex.
The Avengers is a 2012 American superhero film based on the Marvel Comics superhero team of the same name. It is the sixth installment in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The film is written and directed by Joss Whedon and features an ensemble cast including Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, Scarlett Johansson and many more. In the film, Nick Fury, director of the peacekeeping organization S.H.I.E.L.D., recruits Iron Man, Captain America, the Hulk, and the Thor to form a team that must stop the Thor's brother Loki from subjugating Earth. It's one thing for Marvel to crank out a film franchise for every major character in their stable. It's entirely another to weave these plots together into a single movie, then release them back to their own franchises like a complex dance. The Incredibles is a 2004 American computer animated comedy superhero film, written and directed by Brad Bird. The film's title is the name of a family of superheroes who are forced to hide their powers and live a quiet suburban life. Mr. Incredible's desire to help people draws the entire family into a battle with an evil villain and his killer robot. Animation makes the art of believing the superpower abilities and effects easier, which left more room for this lovable group to be grounded in a tale that's recognizably familiar and modern. It's a superhero take that anyone of any age can understand.
Showtime.
The Dark Knight is a 2008 British-American epic superhero film directed, produced and co-written by Christopher Nolan. Based on the DC Comics character Batman, the film is the second part of Nolan's Batman film series and a sequel to 2005's Batman Begins. It's not just a perfect version of what Nolan was trying to do with Batman, it's also probably the best example of any filmmaker creating a world that feels real, but also feels like a place where superheroes could actually occur.
You'll see. I'll show you.
This is all we have for now. Do tell us what you feel by leaving your comments below. But before you leave, don't forget to subscribe to Cinecurry for all the latest short films, celebrity gossips and movie reviews.